Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Horror Realm Radio, the show that won't stay dead. I'm your host, Mike Exler. Always beside me in Studio B is Rich Delzato. Rich, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. We did not have a show last week. Some things came up, so we did not record a show. But we did throw out something that we're going to be putting out every once in a while, and that's the Horror Realm Q&A panel series. We started out with sort of the Hatchet 2 panel, I guess it would be, with Danielle Kane and R.A. So we hope you enjoyed that. Going forward, we're going to throw out some old panels from Horror Realm. Some panels that I have we never put out anywhere, so they'll be first time seen. So look out for that on the YouTube channel, and hope you enjoy that. So we do have some Horror Realm news. I'm going to throw it over to Rich. Rich, what you got going on over there, man?
So some of this is going to be a repeat, but it's been a couple weeks. Not people may not have listened to the episodes or been on the Facebook page. So I just figured we'd give a little summary. The most important thing, if you didn't listen to the last episode or go on Facebook, is the March show has been moved to November 19th to the 21st due to COVID and all the fun it creates in our world. But on March, what is that Saturday in March? Is that the 4th? We will be having an event at the Crown Plaza where Horror Realm takes place, and it's going to be the Horror Flea Market. Always a fun time. That's March 6th. March 6th.
March 6th.
And it's going to, and it's going to be one of those that, we're obviously, a lot of us still won't be vaccinated, and a lot of concerns still COVID-wise, but we're working with the hotel and others to make it as safe as possible. And this is not like the convention where you have hundreds of people smushed into a room. So we're optimistic that we can pull it off safely and give people a little taste of fun this spring. So fingers crossed. So, and then we had a guest announcement. Scout Taylor Compton from the Rob Zombie Halloween franchise has confirmed as a guest. And of course, we were able to confirm that Danielle Harris, Tiffany Shepis, David Sheridan, and Felissa Rose all still can make our new dates for the show. So that's just some quick stuff that people may or may not have caught over the last couple weeks, but it's going to be a fun year. It's going to take a little longer to get to the crown jewel, if you will, but we'll get there.
It'll be worth the wait, as they say.
It will be, and I think it'll be more fun because I would be surprised if come November we're not at least 80-85% back to normal as far as how we can interact. It will probably still be some cautions. Logically, but right. Nothing like we're faced with right now.
Yeah, no, I'm hopeful now that will come true.
You and I may not have been there in March at the convention.
No, I don't think I would have.
No, I don't know that I would have. I mean, which sounds kind of weird since I'm supposed to be there, but it might have been make sure things are set up to run and hide in a hotel room for the weekend. So,
man, for sure.
It's gonna be a fun year, and we'll have more guest announcements, and this gives us a little bit more time. It kind of was sneaking up on me anyway. I think the COVID lockdown, you feel like you have enough time to do everything, and all of a sudden a month passes like nothing. So film schedules, some special events and stuff. This is gonna give us some time to think of some new stuff to do. Obviously, we'll bring back some old favorite things to do. And we'll probably even be able to have a party now in November, which, if you recall, we weren't going to have one in March because that would have just been dumb to be dancing all squeezed into a room.
Yeah, no, not a good look right now.
No, but I think, maybe I'm just being too optimistic, but I'm hoping by November we've all been vaccinated, and even if we have to wash our hands a little more and still wear masks at times, we'll be able to gather how we want.
Correct. Everyone love everyone.
I don't subscribe to that hashtag.
That's Jackie Moon. If you've never seen Semi-Pro, it's a lost gem of a Will Ferrell movie. So.
I have not seen that since it came out, and To the best of my recollection, I don't want to see it again.
It's such a shame. I really like it, but it came out in a time where he was vomiting movies. I'm just gonna say it. You know, it was every other week. It was another fucking Will Ferrell movie. Bewitched came out, and that movie sucked. And it was just in that string, and it kind of got lost. And I really like it. I revisited it a few times, and the cast, the story, he's hilarious in it. I dig it. It's actually Step Brothers and then Semi Pro's favorite Will Ferrell movies for me.
See, I don't like Step Brothers either.
Oh, you're crazy. That's a great movie. And I hate comedies,
Well,
but I love.
we could have a whole show on how bad my sense of humor is.
Yeah, I thought I hated comedies until I met you, and that was a whole nother level of. I don't think you think anything's funny.
No, not really. But that's why we're doing a horror show.
That's right. Fuck comedy is what I say. So, along with the horror theme of that was HorrorRealm News. Thank you, Rich. Thank you. But on to the horror topic of this evening. We thought we'd talk a little bit about subgenres of films and what some of our favorites are. So, Rich, I'm going to let you start. What's one of your favorite subgenres?
I don't know how you did yours, but I kind of did mine in order, almost like when we're doing the bottom five. But in this case, we're doing our favorite subgenres.
Okay.
So I'll start with my fifth most favorite subgenre. And this one might surprise you just because I think with our discussions over the years, you may not have caught on to this one, but werewolves. Werewolf movies would be a subgenre that I really like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love American Werewolf in London. Love The Howling. I think Ginger Snaps was a great. You can't even say a modern day one now because that movie's like 20 years old.
Right. I can't believe how old that movie is. It's crazy.
I know. Universal Monsters. You know, I appreciate the original Wolfman movie. So I've always had a liking towards werewolf movies for some reason.
Have you seen Dog Soldiers?
Yes, that is a great one that I don't. Just in talking to people, the fans that have seen it, I mean, like our friends and stuff, they recognize what a great movie it is, but I think it's one of the most underappreciated horror films in general.
No, I agree. I think it's really well done, and I think werewolf movies are really hard to do, and I think they nailed it on every level.
I agree, and you're right. They are hard to do, and I think one of the things that's always captured me is it's put a lot of the makeup and effects artists, especially when we're doing practical effects, when they were doing practical effects, you know,
I didn't know you were doing movies.
It really showed. I mean, when you look at American Werewolf in London and Howling and what they did to film a realistic conversion to a werewolf, I mean, the art there is just amazing what they were able to accomplish. And I think that's one of the reasons I enjoy them so much.
Nice. I actually didn't even think of the werewolf genre, to be honest.
You have to change it.
So that's cool.
You have to change changing your entire list now?
No, I'm not. I'm sticking with my stuff.
Right.
So, all right. I guess the first one I'm going to talk about is one I really like is found footage.
Nice.
I know a lot of people are against found footage. I know some people don't watch them because they make them kind of sick how shaky cam they are, and that can happen depending on how shaky cam they are. But I really enjoy the genre. I think Blair Witch is the grandfather of the genre. So some people would say it's going to be Cannibal Holocaust, but if I ask 10 people, do you recognize Blair Witch or do you recognize Cannibal Holocaust? They're going to say Blair Witch. So Blair Witch had a bigger impact, in my opinion, than Cannibal Holocaust did.
I agree, and I think it also kind of felt like found footage. Cannibal Holocaust almost gives lip service to being found footage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a stretch that it's found footage in my opinion. Anyway, just. I think the way Blair Witch was able to market the film, how they captured the infancy of the internet, The way they filmed it, as far as, they would just get little pieces of things, notes of what to do in the canisters. I think it was just innovative in a way that not a lot of people are looking to make movies anymore. It's just almost getting, formulaic, and I miss the innovation that film brought. Now it spawned a bunch of shit. I'm going to say that there's a bunch of garbage out there, but I think Blair Witch Project is one of the ones that's high up on the list. The other one I want to mention a couple more. Blair Witch 2016. Again, they were able to film a movie in 2016 that nobody knew about, and he just unleashed it at Comic-Con. I think that's fucking amazing. A great effort on that. I enjoyed the movie. It was much more found footage than the first one. It was a lot more shaky cam, I want to say. But the story was good. There were some legit scares, I thought. And so I enjoyed that. Blair Witch 2, don't waste your time. It's not good.
No.
It's like a Hollywood studio executive was like, I can do a horror movie. No, can't. It's bad. So definitely Blair Witches are in my corner. The one I want to talk about now is called Grave Encounters. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes, yeah.
It's a paranormal, and I'm going to talk a little bit about paranormal in a bit, but Grave Encounters is a paranormal, like, I guess, investigator show movie, and that's almost like a subgenre in itself,
right?
Because there's so many of them. This is the diamond in the rough. Trust me, I've seen way too many of them. Grave Encounters is the diamond in the rough. I've saved you a lot of time. Just watch that one. It's really good. There's a twist at the end that I was not expecting. Did you like it, Rich, or did you hate it?
No, I liked it. And I have no problem with found footage in general to begin with. Like, so I go, when I watch something that's found footage, I'm already open-minded or looking to enjoy it. So I don't have any bias against it. Unfortunately, some people seem to have that bias, and it's not just because they get a little motion sickness. I think it's the cool thing to do.
There is a lot of that in the horror world, but that's another episode. The last found footage film that I want to talk about that some may not know is it's called The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh yeah.
Some would say it's possession film, but it crosses the line between that and something else. So, but it is found footage, and if you haven't seen it, it is very well done, and I think it's definitely worth some of your time. So that's my first one. Have you seen Taking of Deborah Logan?
I have. It's been a while, and I know I liked it. I just don't remember enough on how well I liked it. It's one I definitely will watch again. I know that. So.
Yeah. It was very well done. So I recommend that. So what's your next subgenre?
So I guess this is a subgenre, though this subgenre opens itself up to pretty much every genre. So it's kind of a weird one, but I like anthology picks.
Okay.
Which, anthology pick could be made up of any, the stories could be any genre out there, but I'm focusing on the layout of an anthology film. I really enjoy a 3 or 4 part different short story. I've always liked reading short stories and books. Stephen King did some great short story books or anthology books, and I like it in the film world too. I mean, there's the obvious one that most people that enjoy horror have seen, which is Creepshow.
Yeah.
And you can't beat that. I love the Twilight Zone movie that came out in the 80s.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
It is. And I mean, some of the history behind it's crazy. The death on set, and it's that whole Twilight Zone thing. That I can watch documentaries on that all day, which for such a basic movie, it's got a lot of history to it.
Yeah, it does.
Over in Europe, Amicus Films, they put a lot of great anthologies out. Sometimes it's good for my attention span to have short stories, but also, we talk about movie would have been good if it had been 20 minutes shorter or a half hour shorter. And sometimes the best stories really are short. And that's why I love anthologies. We're kind of getting a return of that on the Shudder channel, which we talk about a lot in the various forums, between getting Creepshow back, but there's also been some Shudder original movies on there that are anthologies. And I'm just always, again, I know it's weird to call that a subgenre, but to me it is. So are you a fan?
I agree with you. I am. I do like, I love Creepshow, obviously, even Creepshow 2. The one that always stands out for me, if it's not Creepshow, I think the best anthology is Trick or Treat.
That's a Sam. Yeah.
I thought they knocked that out of the park. Every story was just great. All the acting was great. The atmosphere was amazing. The entire film. I can't say enough good about it. But yeah, I think that that gives Creepshow a run for its money.
Oh, it definitely does. I would love to spend a Halloween in that town, even if the result was my death.
It's like what I would want for a small town to look like for Halloween.
Oh, I agree.
So yeah.
What's your next one?
I'm gonna go sci-fi horror. There's so many that you can talk about. I think when done well, these two genres just fit together. When done poorly, it's going to be a bad space horror movie that nobody wants to watch. But there's the obvious ones that you can go to, Alien, things like that. But I was wanting to talk a little bit more like Scanners and Videodrome. What are your thoughts on those two films?
I love both of them. I actually have Scanners queued up to watch because it's been a while. And I came across it on Prime or one of the streamings the other night, and I put it in my queue. I'm going to actually watch it this weekend. Love that movie.
Nice. So good. Michael Ironside's the man.
Yes, he is.
And Videodrome, what a trippy movie, man. I put it in the sci-fi horror because I don't know where else it would go.
I think that's a good place to put it. There's probably arguments could be made for a couple categories, but
right,
you'd have just as much argument for sci-fi horror, honestly.
So that's always a good one to watch with the kids for sure. They'll love that. But talking about bad space movies, I want to talk about a good one. My top two sci-fi horror that I recommend anybody to see. The first one is Event Horizon. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah, I love Event Horizon.
Yeah, I think it holds up today. I think even the effects hold up today. And it's crazy. I have a Laserdisc copy of it, and it's not a Criterion, it's nothing special. It's just a regular pressing of Event Horizon, and I think it actually looks better than a DVD on my TV. So it's really weird, but it's a great film. If you have not seen it, I suggest streaming that right now. The last one I want to talk about is a film that has always fucked me up, and it's probably in my top 3 scariest films I've ever seen, and that's Fire in the Sky. I remember my family watched it once while I was away, and they all laughed at me because they thought it wasn't scary. Have you seen it, Rich?
I've not seen that film.
So I don't know if you know the story behind it. It's 4 guys in the mountains. They get abducted by aliens, and it's a true story. And essentially, these 4 guys ruined their entire lives with this story. They were ostracized. They lost their jobs. They made $0 on anything that was ever made from this story. And they all still say that this happened to them. These poor guys have passed countless polygraph tests, all this shit. And at the end of the day, like I said, they get nothing. They don't get paid. They've been ridiculed, all this kind of shit. And the last scene of what happens to the one dude in the fucking aircraft or the spacecraft, if that shit's fucking real, that's the most terrifying fucking thing that's ever been put on film. Period. You can at me all you want, email us, thescaryroomhr@gmail.com, and tell me why that's not the scariest fucking thing that you could possibly watch if it's true. That's what I'm saying.
Check it out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And if you do watch it, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But it's just the thought of if it's true. Fuck that is all I will say.
Did you see that the CIA this week um, uh, put out they had to release a bunch of the UFO files from over the decades?
I did hear that, yeah.
So maybe you'll find out some of the what they're saying is true.
Listen, I think obviously they showed footage of a UFO. Well, what they didn't know what the fuck it was, but they classified it as one. The Pentagon did. I think, 2020 is just like, fuck it. We're just going to show everything. It's going to be terrible.
Well, Fire in the Skies on Amazon Prime. I'll watch it soon.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. And you know me, I don't really like slow films.
I was gonna say I can sustain a slow burn better than you.
Yeah, it's just keep in your mind that one, these guys ruined their lives, and if it's true, fuck that scene. That's all I can say. So, what's your one? Which one you got next?
My next one is slasher films. Which
Nice.
What's that?
That's one of mine too.
I figured we both would have. There was a good chance we both would have it on there. I was wondering it might be a little earlier than you expected from me because of how much I love Halloween and.
Right.
But it was my number 3. Obviously Halloween goes without saying is my favorite. But if you think of slasher films as the mid to late 70s on, when they say it kind of started, I mean I'm not gonna really come up with anything that people haven't seen probably, but like I love Black Christmas and I've always put the Jason movies as a slasher film.
For sure.
I've heard people try to say, "Oh, he's a zombie and this and that." It's a slasher film in my mind.
It's like the slasher film.
I
Like I don't like series. Like I don't understand.
So there's not much to say except about it. Or films to bring up that people don't know about. But it's always spoken to me. The settings are realistic, and at least at the beginning, most of the killers in these movies are realistic as well. They obviously evolve. I mean, Jason started as potentially a retarded. Am I allowed to say that word?
I mean,
A special needs boy who drowned. But I mean, maybe he didn't drown and became but he obviously evolved into something else. And but I don't know. Even Michael Myers. I mean, he's, as far as we know, he's always still been alive. He just can take a licking.
Yes, he can. Yeah.
So something about
he doesn't know pain.
It's like this stuff could happen to you.
Yeah, this is a very reality-based subgenre, I think. There's obviously, like you said, the obvious ones, but there's one that I've always liked, The Hills Run Red, and some people I know have never heard of that. I think that's an excellent film. It's more on the hardcore side, so if you're looking for some blood and guts, that's going to be up your alley. There's one 2016. It's called Hush. It's one that I definitely recommend. It is not a gory film. It is about a deaf girl who is an author that lives in like a cabin, and she's stalked by a guy that wants to kill her, and it's fucking phenomenal, dude. Tense, atmospheric, just fucking super well done. Definitely a high bar for the slasher genre. And the last one I thought was really fun. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Haunt. It's from 2019.
I've not seen that one yet. It's good.
I enjoyed it. I thought it's not genre changing, you know what I mean? But it's fun. I was entertained the entire time. I didn't look at my phone, and that's a good sign, as Tim would say.
Well, I don't think you have to be genre changing. Too many people strive for that, and it's like, just do the genre well.
Right, just make a good fucking movie and call it a day. I don't understand.
Have some scares.
Oh.
Make me stay up at night. Use the shadows. Like, to me, using shadows is one of the most important parts of slasher films.
Oh, for sure. I think setting up the kill is the most important part. If you don't do that, you shouldn't even try. So, want to get through one real quick of mine is the zombie genre. I had to mention that. Is that on your list, Rich?
It is. That's actually the next one on my list.
Oh, nice.
You might have thought that would be my
So
number one if slashers weren't.
I definitely thought that was going to be your number one
It's not.
zombie, but I kind of went down in sort of categories like the Romero category. My Romero list is I like Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and Diary of the Dead. Those are my top three favorites. Now I know you'll disagree, but what would you rate them?
I'm kind of I don't know if this would be a traditional guy or a purist when it comes to the Romeros, but my liking, it's Night of the Living Dead first and foremost. And then I bounce between Dawn and Day for being second. Sometimes it's Dawn just because it's the next step in the evolution of the world he was creating. So it's my second favorite. Other times it's Day just because Day was the best zombies, the most dark. I mean, it was the first one that really scared me. Night and Dawn were cool movies, but Day actually was a little scary. So those are my three. If I were to rank my three with him.
Yeah. Those are a good way to rank it. I like Diary because I thought it was his most poignant social commentary film ever. I really thought he nailed that. And that was one that he was able to do with no big studio interference. So it was all him. He was able to edit, do everything that he wanted to do with it. So
and I like
I have a soft
Diary.
spot in my heart for that film.
I do like Diary for sure, but and it would be on my number four. Land of the Dead's okay, but it's definitely after Diary of the Dead.
Yeah, Land's, it's the studio film, but I enjoy Land. I don't mind it. But of course, I have to mention Night of the Living Dead 90, which could be my favorite zombie film.
Nice.
I've always said it was Day, but thinking more on this subject, I really think it's Night 90. It's just so good. And then two films people might not know, and I've talked about this on other shows. It's The Dead from 2010 and The Dead 2 from 2013. These two films to me are reasons why I'm glad people haven't given up making zombie films yet. The first one sets place in an African desert, so it's very slow moving. There's not a lot of zombies. The second one takes place in a city in India, so there are people fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Both films completely different, but both amazing. So I highly recommend those two. Have you seen either one?
I've seen both. I like them both a lot. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those, and those are great modern choices. Another part of the zombie genre I really like is the Italians that fell in love with zombies because of Romero, and like we got Fulci's Zombie, and that's plays a big part in my love of zombie films also.
I agree. What is? Damn, I can't remember the one zombie one with that creepy little kid and the mom. Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
Oh, damn it!
We used to sell it at our table.
I know, and I can't think of it.
When Adam listens to this, he's going to know what it is. But that movie needs to be mentioned.
Yes.
Fuck, I can't believe I can't remember that name.
Here's a zombie movie that I love that it's kind of weird. It is a zombie movie, but Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You seen that?
I have.
I mean, the zombies are more like Ned Flanders' annoying neighbor on The Simpsons, but Vincent Price, like everything else, he just makes it awesome.
Yeah, there's not much that he's done that's not amazing.
Yeah, so even pre Romero, I like zombie films.
There's a lot to like when done correctly.
Yeah.
So where are we at on your list? Do you have any more left?
I have my number one left. How about you?
Okay, I have my number 1 and 2 left, and I want to see if you think these things should be separate or the same.
Ooh, okay.
I have paranormal and I have possession.
No, they're separate.
Okay. Yes.
Totally separate, in my opinion.
All right. I'm going to go, since you're number one, I'm going to just do possession real quick. Obviously, Exorcist is probably one of the most perfect films to date. I don't know if there is a better film, horror or not. That one, Exorcism of Emily Rose, definitely one to see. Rich, have you seen that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
And then one that people might not know about, it's called The Possession of Michael King. That movie is phenomenal.
I've not seen it, but I've heard good things about it. I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, definitely check that out. It's almost a one-man show of this man descending into possession. Wow. It's really well done. Last one I want to mention is a documentary done by William Friedkin. You might remember him from Exorcist. And that's The Devil and Father Amorth. And Father Amorth was a exorcist for the Catholic Church. If you're into the possession genre or anything like that, and you haven't seen this documentary, you need to watch it. It's supremely well done. They show a lot of shit, and they give a lot of information that's, pretty much from the church's mouth. So it's very interesting.
That documentary messed with me. The
I'm sure it did.
The little Catholic boy that's still inside of me, that dug into me, and I did not like it.
Oh, I bet not. I think, and knowing that you're Catholic, and that movie would hit you a little bit, I would think.
But it was well done. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I think it's on Prime, I want to say, but use the internet, you can find it. So what's your number one? I can't wait to hear this since it's not zombies or slashers.
My number one, we're going to be talking about together, I think, because it is ghosts/paranormal.
Nice.
And I
am surprised.
I knew it would surprise you, but I gave this a lot of thought, and I thought about my whole life as a horror fan and my life in general of what scared me, and from our earliest days as children and stuff, ghosts are a reality as far as stories and things to spook us, and Halloween. And I realized that not only have ghosts or hauntings always scared me, but they've been there the longest. And I love the movies, and it definitely ranks above slasher and zombie even.
Wow, oh, that's awesome. Actually, that took me by surprise. I definitely was not expecting that.
That's what I'm here for.
So what are some of the films you have listed that you?
So some obvious stuff, and well, all of it's probably obvious, but it's across the decades, if you will. I mean, of course, like the 10-year-old me, the Poltergeist, even though I've said at times I don't think it holds up as well for me now. At 10 years old, scared the hell out of me. The Fog. I mean, to me, The Fog, John Carpenter's The Fog, is a ghost story. And sorry, I'm someday going to remember about that 8 o'clock alarm. The one that probably one of my earliest memories was the Amityville Horror. I was definitely under 10 years old. I was probably 7, 8 years old at a friend's house. Didn't see the movie yet, but his sister had the novelization of the movie, and on a Saturday night staying over there, we read that thing, and they had a cool old house to begin with woods around them, and it was the scariest night of my life. I don't think I slept a wink. And then I finally got to see the movie not long after. And just a couple others, and I won't linger. I like some of the modern stuff like Paranormal Activity and The Conjuring. And then you go into some of the classics. There's a movie called The Innocence that I love. House on Haunted Hill, going back to Vincent again. You can't beat him.
Right.
And the last one I'll mention that I love, it is really a slow burn, but I think it's really well done. Certain parts of it is Carnival of Souls. And some people try to say those are zombies too, but they're ghosts. I don't know why
I've
people say that.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that film, actually.
It's I'll tell you what, 70% of it, you're like, why the hell, like the girl who's the main character of it, and this is not ruining anything for you, except she has an apartment that she goes back to, after certain scenes, and she's got this neighbor that talks to her for like a half hour straight all the time, and he has nothing to do with anything except he's like the annoying drunk neighbor across the hall. But the scenes that have to do with ghosts and what she's dealing with are really cool, especially for the era that it was made.
Right.
So I like that stuff. It just scares the heck out of me.
For sure. I have one, The Changeling with George C. Scott is one I always bring up. Slow burn, but still really, really good. I had House on Haunted Hill, the remake. I know I've talked about it on other shows. I really like that film. The ending sucks, but I really like the film up till the ending. You mentioned the Conjuring series. I actually think Annabelle Comes Home is the best of the Conjuring series, or the Conjuring world. I thought that film was really, really well done. And the last one I wanted to mention was Dead Silence. Do you remember that film from?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, the one with the ventriloquist dummies.
Yep.
I think that has some scares in it, and I think it's a good genre. Looking at my list, I think the horror films that scare me are things that could possibly happen. More
me
so
too.
than the monsters.
I agree with you. I agree. I mean, obviously, ghosts and paranormal and slashers could all happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not religious. I was just saying I'm not religious myself, but possession films, for me, I think there are things that have been here that predates things that you would believe in. So I do believe in evil and bad things, just not the same,
Yeah, it doesn't have to have a religious. I mean, the religion sometimes comes out of the reality.
Right. I mean, if you want to go back to it and talk religion, when God created Earth, there was already beings here, supposedly, and they were in the darkness. So, but I digress. So there's some of our favorites. What's that?
I could mention one more ghost film that I forgot to mention, because they don't all have to scare. They don't all have to scare the heck out of me. The House movie with William Catt from the 80s.
Yeah, that shit's
good.
They
can be a lot of fun too.
Yep, yes they can. No, that was a good one, because what an interesting concept that film was. Just something totally different. No, that was a great one. The whole thing, top to bottom, was great.
It should get more love, in my opinion.
I totally agree. But with that, I think we've come to the end of the episode. We want to thank you for listening and hope we showed you some films that you might not have heard of. Let us know what some of your favorite subgenres are. And don't forget, next week, we're going to do a bottom 5 within the episode and talk about some of the subgenres we hate. So you always like when we talk about shit that we hate. Again, thank you very much. I don't know. So again, thank you for listening to HorrorRealm Radio, the show that won't stay dead.